Hello and welcome everyone. This is Phoenix with your Patriot Health Report for the weekend of May 10th, 2025. All the health facts you need to know for the Patriot on the go. Hope you guys are doing well. And we are being joined this weekend as usual by Bob Gilpatrick of Boomers Forever Young, who's joining us from his headquarters down in St. Petersburg, Florida. Bob, how are you doing and how are things going down there at Boomers?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Phoenix, and things are going well at Boomers also. And it's summertime right now, and we're having an ozone problem, so it's very, very hot when you go outside, and you really don't want to be outside for more than 1 minute, or you start to fry.
Oh, wow. Starting to fry is not good. Now, I want to tell everyone we've gone through some machinations here, some technical difficulties this morning. A couple companies that I've worked with in the past, as well as Bob, kind of getting a little manipulative on the use of their data and intel, and it was kind of difficult to get into this, and we didn't have a lot of pre-program preparation, if you will. So just like in a very live version, Bob, what's our topic today? Because I didn't even get to ask you before we started recording. What's the topic there, sir?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about chronic disease. And if you have seen recently, the last couple of days, there's been a lot of conferences with Bobby Kennedy Jr. About what he's up to, at Health and Human Services, and he brought on the other day for quite a long meeting that was open, for the public, where he brought on the FDA director, the director of Medicaid, and the director of the National Institute of Health, and they all talked about what they're doing in their respective departments, and it was really, really interesting. And they're all basically saying that the biggest challenge we have health-wise in the country is chronic disease, which is, when somebody has a disease or a condition that lasts for a while, usually they say, a year or more, and it's limiting the person, in their daily living activities, and it requires continuous medical care. And that's taking up, by some estimations, 90% of the total budget, healthcare budget in the United States, in excess of $4 trillion. Bobby Kennedy's using the percent of 70%, but either one, it's quite clearly the biggest challenge that we have in our country in regard to health. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay, before we get into that topic, could you please fill us in if there's any updates, information, news, because a lot of times you will give us some interesting updates about what's going on with your products or business, etc., or even something mundane you want to tell us. Give us a little personal time here on what's going on there before we get into the actual topic, please.
Yeah, so right now, which is, the weekend of the 10th of May, if people make their way to our website, you'll discover we're having a sale that lasts for 90 days. So we're doing a subscription sale, meaning we're giving an extra 10% off for people for 90 days when they put something on subscription. And that's really good because you're already getting 10% plus free shipping, which in some cases that by itself comes to 20%, right? Because the shipping quite often costs that much. But now we're going to give another 10%. So, and you'll get that discount for 90 days. And so any product that you want to put on subscription will give you that extra discount. We also have a really great sale where people can get free barley, where they're getting that when you order your collagen product, we're giving you a free canister of heirloom barley, which goes really well with the collagen. And it's some people call it a travel size. It's a half size jar. If you're first starting barley, it's actually a full month supply because you have to ease into it very carefully. But in any regard, it's free. It's a $50 value
Wow.
for free.
That's
And
great. That's a great deal.
yeah, we've had quite a few people take advantage of it since we put it up on the site, over 100 actually, and we're going to leave it up probably till the end of the month. We have some other stuff too because vitamin C goes really well with collagen, helps with the synthesis. We put that on sale 20% off. We also have a product that's called Clarity Factor, obviously for your brain, your concentration and focus. And we were out of that for a while. So what we've done is put it on a 10% discount so people can get back started again. And you can put that onto your auto ship as well. And that extra 10% will end up giving you 20 for the next month. And last but not least, we have a combo pack that's half price. So it's called the Ancient Herb Bundle, and it's ashwagandha and olive leaf extract and turmeric, which all do different things, but put together in a combo is really great. And the ashwagandha is really good for keeping people calm, and turmeric's really great for inflammation and all kinds of other things. And the same with olive leaf extract. It's really great for boosting your immune system and about 100 other things. And we put that together in a combo and put a price on it of $59.95, which normally would be $120.
That's great savings also.
Yeah. So those are the things that we've been working on. And also, we've been getting tons and tons of testimonials lately. And it's really quite amazing. And a lot of them are in regard to our Myotrol product, right? And it's very standard now for people to chime in and tell us how much they really like taking the Myotrol. Here's one that just came in like not even a day ago. This lady said, I always feel better with taking Myotrol. After I go to the gym, the usual soreness is gone. Also, it's been brought to my attention that I have tremendous definition of muscle in my legs thanks to Myotrol. And this is a lady who sent us in a picture of herself with a big smile. It was really great.
Nice.
And then here's a guy, 75 years old. I'm 75 and still working 8 hours a day. I take Boomer Boost and Gladiator barley in the morning, and it sustains me and gives me a lot of energy through the morning. When I take it, I feel better and more like doing my morning exercises. I don't know where I would be physically without it. God bless you all.
Well, I would have to say that's a very good testimony.
Yeah, for a 75-year-old,
Yeah.
what it is I was talking about this with a couple of people here at the office. A lot of times people have trouble as they get older, and we'll talk about that with chronic disease. What happens to your life when you get a chronic disease. And if you are able to, at the age of 75, find something that will restore you and help you have the energy you had when you were much younger, there's like a list of 100 things that it's going to benefit in your life. And I just was reading and I was like, wow, I guess 75, that's pretty good. And then I started thinking, Jim works for me. He doesn't work full time, but he works a few days a week. And he's 14 years older than this guy. But he's been using the Boomer Boost and barley for 10 years. And ever since he started working for me when he was just 80 years old. And and so it's not 75 is not like the upper limit. I mean, I don't know how many more times we'll be talking Phoenix years from now that Jim will still be
Hmm.
working with us,
Yeah.
into his 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not the same anymore when you have the ability to use the new technology of anti-aging. It changes your timeline, and that's what happened for that man. But this is a lady who wrote in a testimonial 3 days ago. Listen to this. I thank our God for all of you at Boomers. I thank you for the excellent products and how it's helped my energy and for your excellent customer service. I am yet experiencing goodness and repair to my skin and nails and hair. Everything looks really good. I love to run and hike. I had to stop these activities because of an injury in 2022, and I'm getting all my strength back despite the pain, and that's getting better too. Praise God.
Wow.
So I love all of you, all of my brothers and sisters in Christ, Stephanie and Lucy, those people that work for me, and all of the ones I don't know your names. Blessings in Jesus' name. You're in my prayers. Love in Jesus always.
Wow. It's so nice. I tell you what, I love hearing the testimonies. I know everyone else does also. And that is just so cool. So cool, Bob.
Yeah, I'm looking at the top of the scroll here. We have 3,520 testimonials, and the average out of 5 stars is 4.7.
Oh, that is amazing. For that amount of testimonials and that to be the average, that's absolutely amazing. It really is.
Yeah, yep. It's really good. It's a testament to a lot of people, Phoenix, because you never get testimonials like this in a company unless you have products that work really well. And the scientists that work with us to make these products are really just top notch. I mean, they're otherworldly, let's put it that way. And to be able to invent processes for making things like the gladiator barley and the Myotrol is when I talk to these men and interview them, which by the way, you can watch interviews with these inventors on my website. One of them was actually here in the building. He came to visit us when he was in Colombia, South America. He normally lives up in Canada, and he flew up to meet with us and stay a couple of days. And then Eric, who invented the Myotrol, we interviewed him over Zoom. He lives out in California, and yeah, and then of course the staff that is answering the phones, and 99% of the time when one of our customers calls up, they're speaking to Stephanie and Jim and Lucy, and 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 then you see these testimonials thanking them. That's really kind of what it's all about.
Mm.
And the only thing I do is come on your program, Phoenix, and tell everybody how great my staff is.
And then I will reinforce that. You have a great staff. I talk about it too. But it's true. It's true. Give credit where credit is due. Oh, that kind of rhymed. Anyway, if anybody wants to find out more, go to patriotintelreport.com. Click on the lady on the left-hand side in the blue lightning storm. Take you right there. And Bob will tell you more about contact info as we move along here.
Yeah,
Anything else we want to get
yeah.
into before our
Actually, there
conference?
is one other thing. We haven't talked in a little while about the circulation mats and the reason I'm saying this is just recently we've heard a lot of evidence about from people's testimonials that have these circulation mats, including, we found out is that when the Kentucky Derby was run last weekend, and the winner, whose name was Sovereignty, they announced on the program afterwards that he'd been doing really well using his circulation mat. And the company makes a circulation mat for horses as well as for humans. And um, when we heard that, it's like, oh my God, that's the same one that people are using that are getting their circulation mats to help improve their circulation that drops off as you age. And then all of a sudden, here we are, Sovereignty is using the exact same company's
Wow.
technology.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. Absolutely
yeah,
amazing. We talked about this before, everyone. What Bob's talking about, these are common in Europe, not so common in the U.S. There are places, I know specifically, seen it myself, Germany, where they have these mats in like ambulances. If you get picked up, you're sick, or there's an injury, they actually transport you to the hospital, to the ER or whatever, and you'll actually be on one of these mats. And many times you get right in, especially if it's like something very serious. They'll put you right on one of these, in addition to whatever the doctors and nurses are going to do.
yeah, yeah. And here at my office, Phoenix, there's a woman named Anne who's an expert in this technology. And if anybody wants to know about it, um, you can you can give a call to our 800 number and ask for Ann. And she knows a lot about nutrition too. And if you get her on the phone, she'll help tell you how the mat works hand in hand with the nutrition. And definitely call and talk to her. She's really a renowned expert in that technology and is also in stem cells as well. Phoenix, she wrote a book about stem cells.
Wow, amazing.
You know, in regard to chronic illness, we were saying it's the biggest problem in the country, and the men that were talking about this, Dr. Oz is one of them. Dr. Oz was on this panel because he's the director of the Office of Medicare and Medicaid, and um, also a guy named McCary, who's the FDA director, along with Bobby Kennedy, and another guy named whose name is Jay Bhattacharya, who's the director of NIH, and they all know each other. They really like each other. They get along really well, and they have integrated plans to totally transform the healthcare system in the United States, and it's targeted at chronic illness. And so there's a couple of things to know that are real important about chronic illness. There's the top seven ones are, heart disease and cancer and lung disease and stroke and Alzheimer's and diabetes and kidney disease. And that's very important to know. But it's equally important to know that those are not the leading causes of death, right? Because heart disease is the leading cause of death. But then there are three things that are kind of tied for second place. One is injuries and accidental deaths, including drug overdoses. The other is medical errors. And the other one, in addition to that, is death from properly prescribed medication.
Okay.
And
One more time. So, in case people miss that, Bob just said death from properly prescribed medications. Is that what you said?
yeah, and it's over 100,000 people a year die from medication, from the side effects of medication that the doctor meant to prescribe that medication at that dose, and it was the right type of pill for that patient to take. And there's nothing wrong with giving it to them, but there are so many side effects with medications that even with that, 100,000 people a year die. And in addition, another 100,000 from medical errors. And so
Mm.
if you add those together with accidents, it's way more than the number of people that die from heart disease. And less people die from cancer than die from those other causes.
Wow. You know,
And
that always gets me. You see these adverts for different medications, and they always paint them, with someone like running through a field chasing butterflies and running into their group of friends and hugging everybody, and it's just like wonderful. Puppies and kitties are everywhere, and then, but in the background, they start talking real fast. Side effects may include death. Your eyeballs may fall out. You may suddenly have your hand fall off. I mean, all these crazy side effects that you could possibly
yeah,
get from this medication. And they always say it like, real low and real high. I'm like, oh my gosh. Did you hear what? Yeah, like, but the image they give is like people smiling and hugging. Your children are loving you, and
yeah,
old friends you haven't seen in years. But meanwhile,
yeah.
if you listen to what they're saying, it's like, oh yeah, and you may die from taking this. Like, I don't mean to
And they
laugh.
do.
It's very
And
serious.
they do. And it's not that they might die, they do die. 100,000 people a year.
Exactly,
So,
and that's why they
yeah,
do it.
but they're not going to put that up on the screen. Oh, by the way, 100,000 people a year have died. But there's every year there's almost 5 billion prescriptions issued in the United States, and 60% of everybody in the country, including children and everybody, are taking at least one prescribed medication.
Whoa,
And
whoa, whoa, whoa! How many? 60%?
60% of all Americans take at least one medication.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to add real quick, and I'll let you go. I won't interrupt you anymore. But usually, when you see these formats, programs, or whatever, where they're advertising a lot of medications, throughout the commercials, at least one point during that hour, you'll see a commercial also from a law firm. If you have been injured, you or a loved one has been injured from, and they'll name a medication, you were prescribed this medication, you have suffered from this, contact our law office because of a class action suit against some medication. It's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a racket, They know they run it as far as they can. They know there's going to be liability. They made enough profit. Like, okay, let's go with the liability now. Let's drop this and go something else. I know
Yeah.
that may be kind of like cynical of me, but yeah.
No, it's actually, something you really should do if you um, are going to take a medication. You want to ask your doctor um, if how long this medication has been on the market, right? And if it's brand new, ask them, is there a similar product that's been on the market longer that has a track record of safety? Because it's quite often not until 5 years later that people are aware that there is a drug that's killing people. And so you might very well need a medication, but try not to take the brand new ones. And the Vioxx is the perfect example. It was a pain medication, right? And it came out back in the late 90s, like Merck put it out, right? And after they launched it, they took it off the market 5 years later because they had to do studies showing how deadly it was because all these people were having heart attacks and strokes. And by the time they took it off of the market, there were almost 90,000 people that had heart attacks as a result, and almost 40,000 of them died.
Mm. Yeah,
And
I've been
yeah,
waiting. This big thing now where people are like, instead of like exercising or eating right or anything, they take these injections to make them lose fat. Oh, I'm waiting for that one, baby. I know. I really think, Bob. I'm like, when I first started this stuff, I'm like watching it. I'm like, man, everybody's getting into this. I'm like, how long is it going to be until we start hearing the first reports? And I
yeah,
really, if it doesn't, I will be surprised because there was, talking about this drug from the past. I know years ago, there was a weight loss drug. I forget what the name of it was they were giving people, and it's supposed to be really good. And same thing, people end up having heart attacks because this drug was causing the valves in their heart to harden and become hard, and they would just
Yeah.
have sudden cardiac arrest, and it was from a weight loss drug. And so seeing these big injection things, and everybody, it's like the new raving thing, I'm like, yeah, how long till that shoe drops?
Yeah. Yeah. And if you do need medication for something, which there are, medications that can help with certain things very well, but if you are going to take it, you want to ask your doctor, how long you have to take it. Is it something that he expects you to take the rest of your life, or can he help you design a plan that would restore whatever it is that is causing the problem so you don't have to take that medication, and find out if it's going to deplete you of certain nutrients, like as happens with all the statins. It lowers your coenzyme Q10 dramatically, and your heart muscle doesn't work as well. You can get exhausted from that, and you just want to be really smart if you're visiting the doctor and they prescribe a drug. Very first thing you do is find out about the safety of it.
Well, I wish, Bob, wouldn't it be nice if there was some type of nutrition product that people could take that possibly would keep them from getting inflammation and sickness and help them, to stay feeling good so they wouldn't have to go to these alternative medications. Do you know of any nutritional products or any
Yeah.
place where we can get something like that?
Well, Phoenix, we already know really what the causes of chronic disease are, and it's lack of exercise, eating very, very poor quality food, so you're malnourished, and then other behavioral types of products, or issues, that smoking cigarettes, drinking too much alcohol, those types of things, being under a lot of stress. And um, and so, knowing those things, yes, it's not only nutrition products, but other techniques that you can learn and use. And so what we do for people is we assume that they're malnourished, even if they're trying to eat healthy, because the quality of the food is very low in nutrition. Because it's being grown in depleted soils, and it's highly processed. It's got seed oils mixed in with it. It's got high fructose corn syrup, and Bobby Kennedy was talking about that just yesterday. That one of their big things is going to be getting those sugars out of the food supply, and they're they're no longer going to let people that have the program they called food stamps. They're no longer going to let them buy soda pop or candy with their food stamps, and that's going to be a new regulation they're going to put in effect. But instead, really, what people should do is understand what really great nutrition is, because you can't just eat good food and exercise and expect to weather the storm of what's happening on our planet, right? But they just came out literally a month ago with a brand new study that's in the New England Journal of Medicine, and it was on children with chronic illness. And there's lots of them. It's a very, very high percentage have cancer or are obese, have diabetes. It's like 38% of the children. And a really, really big contributing factor to it is toxins in the environment, including plastics and pesticides, et cetera. And in the New England Journal of Medicine, they identified that. So your nutrition supplements should have the ability to detoxify your body and to give you the right nutrition so that you can make enough energy, right? Because if you don't make enough energy, and because you don't have the right substrates to do it, your body craves more food. And that is what leads to the obesity and the diabetes, which then leads to those causes, what the chronic diseases are, right? Heart disease and cancer and stroke and kidney disease and Alzheimer's disease, and all caused by high inflammation in your body, and that leads to diabetes, which leads to higher inflammation, which leads to these things that are killing us. Now, when you do that, you're much more likely to encounter the medical system, and therefore much more likely to die from a properly prescribed medication or a medical error. And so you want to be able to navigate the toxic world, and you want to be able to produce energy in your cells and detoxify your body. And so our systems are designed around that, Phoenix, to take a combination of products that will allow you to do all of those things. And then as you age, you're going to age much more slowly, but you're still going to age. And as you do, you're going to lose muscle, your joints are going to get crumbly. And we now have technology that's nutrition technology to help solve those problems as well. And it's good that there's choices to be made where you can choose following along with the whole collective nocebo of illness, that the society has given us, or you can choose to extract yourself from that and be over here. And a company like Boomers Forever Young can guide you there. We can show you exactly what to do. And then, of course, stress is another huge issue. And by visiting our website, you can learn the emotional freedom technique to do it for yourself, do havening for yourself. You can do the inner balance technology from Heart Math, the ultimate mind calming exercise. The highest level techniques for managing stress are taught on our website for free. And so consider it like a place where you can go to our website and be able to secure what you need to take to be super nourished and a super ager, and at the same time to stay calm in the storm of society.
Very good. You know what? We got probably a little over 5 minutes, 7 minutes or so left here. Why don't you, before we go too far in, tell everyone how to reach you or contact information. Again, everyone go to patriotintelreport.com. Click on the lady in the blue lightning storm on the left-hand side. It'll take you right to Bob's side. But Bob's got some phone numbers here, possibly some other information you can share with everyone before we wrap things up and get your final thoughts.
Yeah, so absolutely call our 800 number. You'll get Lucy or Jim or Ann or Stephanie on the phone. And it's 800-861-4609. And we're open from Monday to Friday, Eastern Time, 9 to 5. And also, just like happened probably about, I would say 10 days ago, we had a listener to PHR stop by and come to talk to me at the office. And she was in Orlando and was coming over this way to visit some friends. And she came to the office and I had a nice talk with her. And people can do that. We're at 5401 Central Avenue in St. Petersburg. So you're down here on vacation or you live in Florida and you want to come by, call ahead and I'll make sure that I'm there at the time that you want to come. And we'll really look forward, to having you.
Very cool. You know what? That's great contact info. We're like 5 minutes out here, Bob. How about some final thoughts on this topic? Wrap it up for us. Give us some words of wisdom, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I think just so people also know, there's going to be a lot of other great things happening you know, with Bobby Kennedy Jr., he's, you know, right now tackling a mega study in regard to autism. And he said by September, they're going to come out with their preliminary recommendations, because now today we have 1 in 31 children are born with autism. And in 1970, it was 1 in 10,000. And I think what they'll find is that a lot of it has to do with toxins that are coming into our body. And in a cabinet meeting the other day, Donald Trump suggested such a possibility. And that'll be one of the things, but there'll be others also. There's also going to be, you know, removing lots of toxins from our food supply, high fructose corn syrup, seed oils, the dyes, and what's left in that they believe is toxic that they haven't been able to get out yet. They're going to be on the label of the food with warnings. And the other thing they just did, which was just the simplest thing, but huge, you know, there's inventors out there all over Phoenix. They're coming up with new devices that are medical devices that help people. But it would always take a year or two before Medicare would approve payment for it. And so there's these great new things, but nobody could use them. And now they've made that a zero weight state. So as soon as the FDA approves a new breakthrough device that looks like the studies have shown it's going to be helpful, Medicare will now pay for people to use it.
That's very good.
That's going to be a really good thing as well. And I would just say that, you know, in closing, you know, the cost of having a chronic disease, it goes across your whole family. Because if you're sick and crumbly, you have to have caregivers. And usually it's the family that has to do that. Someone has to quit their job. You have to quit your job. Now the family's under financial stress. And it can create generational problems. Now maybe you can't afford to send the grandkids to college. Right? And now they are, the children and the grandchildren are living in an environment, in a morphic field of illness, and it's way more likely that they will get the same thing. And so, you know, get your game on and get super healthy and stay that way your whole life. And we're getting very close to the point, Phoenix, where there isn't going to be one single thing that people will have to tolerate in regard to chronic disease. But right now, about 90% of everything that is contributing to chronic disease, we can already fix that. And we do. You know, I've fixed it for myself. Jim, at 89 years old, has fixed it for himself, and about 20,000 of our customers also. And so give us a call when you're ready, and we'll be more than happy to give you a hand.
Excellent. Well, Bob, thank you very much. We got to get rolling here. God bless you, and I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
That's it, everyone. This week's Patriot Intel Report. And again, more information, give Bob a call. Until next time, God bless, be well, and Phoenix and Bob out.